First step is to get some line on the shank. I guess it's called tying thread. I start all mine pretty much the same way. Red flash the shank. Catches fish, that's all that matters to me. Couple wraps. Lay the flash down the shank, pinch it in place, wrap down toward the hook point. White marabou's next. You don't want it too long, so you measure it up your fingertips, set it in place, a couple of wraps to hold it, give it a check. Once you're satisfied, anchor it. I'm not a professional with this, so sometimes things get a little fuzzy looking, but I really don't care. By the way, I'm tying this on a 1/64 gold jig head. It's my favorite color and size. Final ingredient, at least for this one, is some green flash up on top. And as we all know, top of the jig in your vise is the bottom of the jig in the water, because when it comes through the water, it hangs upside down from this. Some guys like to wrap this with red thread. I prefer to keep the red color along the shank. Final step, flip finish. Anchor it in place. Dab of head cement, trim it off, couple drops of head cement, give her a chance to dry, you're finished. Green thread, get it on the shank. And I start my jigs all the same way. Don't ask me to explain it, but I like red flash along the shank. So I put a couple of strands on there. And I put that, anchor the red flash. Now we're doing a green and white combo, so the first color is going to be our green. Some green marabou. Now it's the same deal where you measure it on there, trim off the excess, Use that pinch technique they talk about. Lay that down on the shank. Get a couple of wraps around there to get it anchored. Once you have that in place, secure it good. No such thing as a bad jig. It may look bad. As long as we catch fish, it does not matter. Okay, green's in place. Next you want to put on the white marabou. I have used white bucktail, but I don't know. It just seems like the marabou just gives that nice soft presentation. Measure that puppy up. Trim off the excess. Hold it in place. Pinch it. Couple of wraps, get it started. And then basically wind it down in place. Explaining how to tie a jig is more about showing you that than it is talking about it. There's not a whole lot. Just takes materials, of ice, some time. I always carry this out along the stream with me. When color's working and I run out, tie a few more. Okay. Final step, green flash up in the white marabou. Got about 5 or 6 strands of it. Same length as the rest of it. Trim enough to make it match up. Pinch it. Wrap it in place. And my friend, that's about it. Whip finish. Dab of head cement. Your green and one's finished. A couple more things about jigs. Now we've tied basically the white, green and white. We did that on camera. The brown and white basically is the same thing as far as the color combinations, putting them together, the configuration I should say. And the black, just like the white, same configuration. But you'll notice that no two flies are identical, at least when I tie them. Sometimes you got a lot of dressing on it, and sometimes you have very little. In fact, the white ones are a little bit more delicate. So you can see from that. It makes a difference because, quite frankly, I don't think the fish like a lot of dressing on a fly. I think the more beat up they are, the better they fish at times. And you never know what color combination is going to work. The chartreuse heads, black bodies, that was a That was a killer at one time. Green and black combination is another good one. You can see we've got a few of this and a few of that. That's the brown and whites there. But I need to tell you, there's a lot of different ways to catch steelhead on jigs. And I don't know if there's a pattern right now that's going to be the pattern for this year, because every year it seems to change. But if you stick with basic black, you'll be good. White, and some variation of a green and a brown, you'll do just fine. And during the course of the year, you're going to find out which one of those flies works the best. The green and white was really good last year. I suspect it's going to be that way again this year. Kind of hard to tell for sure. As some of you guys know, you can tie these things based on the information I gave you. Or you can go to fishsteelheadalley.com. Drop me a note. I sell my versions through the mail. But you don't need me to tie them. You can tie your own. Get a small vise, get the materials, you're off and running. If you don't want to go through that bother, drop me an email and we'll cut a deal to send you some. I hope you have a chance to do some steelhead fishing. Recent rain's going to be good. Thanks for watching the video.